Hello and welcome to Films on That. My name's Rob Turnbull.
And my name's Sam Hall.
And today we are doing The Long Good Friday. So this was your pick, Sam. So why did you pick this film?
Well, I was looking at some of the comments and there was someone who was sort of saying that we didn't understand one of our films we did.
That's not like YouTube comments.
So you don't think you really understand the culture or whatever? Well, do you know what then? I'll pick a British film.
Yeah, we'll still get those comments though, to be fair.
True, yeah. But
you didn't understand London.
a little bit of research. I understand London, chimney sweeps and all that. Yeah. Pearly Kings.
Maybe because I'm a Londoner that I love London town.
An East End London gangster is about to make the deal of a lifetime, but his empire comes crashing down around him, and he has no idea why.
Scare the shit out of them, but don't damage them. I want them conscious and talkative. And lads, try and be discreet, eh?
This review contains spoilers. This is one of your favourite films though, we should say.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I'd say it's in the top 100. I don't think it's entirely perfect, but I do think it's a pretty smart, well-made film. At the centre of it all, though, and the thing that really gels it all together and makes it work so well is that Bob Hoskins is just so good in it.
Really is an outstanding performance by him. He's the central driving force for the film throughout.
He's in almost every scene, except for like the first 10 minutes.
If it was a lesser actor in that role, I don't think the film would be half as good, to be honest. He really does sell it.
Especially as I think some of the actors even aren't quite up to the level that he's at. And that's saying something. Helen Mirren's in it as well.
Hockey's frightfully vulgar.
Yeah, plenty of that. Yeah. The Yanks love snobbery. They really feel they've arrived in England if the upper classes treat them like shit.
The premise of the film is a London gangster got a deal with some American gangsters, and what they're trying to do is move away from being small-time crooks to being a big kind of enterprise. What happens is that it all starts going wrong, and he's trying to figure out what's going on because his own men are dying and things are getting blown up, and he has absolutely no idea why, and so he kind of starts his investigation to find out. And you find out that actually why this is all happening is revealed in the first 10 minutes. But the thing about the first 10 minutes of the film is you're not given any context to anything. You're just witnessing things happen, but you don't know why they're happening or who anyone is. You don't know any names. There's no dialogue. Basically telling you over a course of the film what was happening in those first 10 minutes.
But you're in Harold's position with him, aren't you? You don't really know what's going on. You see kind of sparks of things happening here and there. And we should say that Harold, he runs London. He's the kind of big boss of London crime at this point.
Because I don't think there has ever been like a boss of London or whatever. There's not been an Al Capone equivalent of London. But the closest they say that came to that was these twins called the Kray twins, who kind of ran the East End of London, and they became quite successful in their kind of corrupt dealings. And I think that they probably inspired this character probably more than anything else. Like they were heavily involved with politicians. I think there was even an incident where there was kind of was it a gay orgy or something that the Kray twins were involved in, where it turned out that because they were politicians who were both Labour and Conservative at this orgy, both of them got together and said, right, I think we'll bury this so nobody finds out about it.
Are you planning a party then?
Yes!
It's also the political element is because they're heavily involved with, there's a character called Councillor Harris in this who's meant to be heavily involved with the developments. And he is actually kind of the linchpin, as you find out later on, that he's why everything is falling apart and everything is unfolding as it is.
Those plans came in very handy, my son. Much obliged.
No sweat, Harold.
The licence on the casino, they go through all right? No problems?
Yeah. A slight one.
What's that?
Councillor Taylor seems to think you're a gangster.
I really like the mystery aspect to this film.
Yeah.
Because Harold's just going around going, who's having a go at me?
Yeah.
He says.
Who's having a go at me?
Very quotable, actually, this film.
I just love how he's like, have you heard anything? No, nothing, Harold. What, nothing? And that's the first half of the film, he's just doing that. Has no one heard anything?
So nothing?
Not a word. Or no one's heard.
No one's heard nothing? That just ain't natural.
Yeah. He's just kidnapping people and saying, have you not heard anything, and threatening people. And
I just love how in the dark he is, and you're really trying to figure it out with him.
Look, what's up? Someone's been playing Guy Fawkes and my roles and a touch of Jaws in the Lido. That's what's up, mate.
It's very, very East London. There's a lot of London slang used in it. Not just Cockney rhyming slang, but street slang.
Yeah, have you ever heard the name Errol outside of a gangster film?
No.
Feed them to the pigs, Errol.
I do think this really inspired Guy Ritchie to make Snatch and Lock, Stock and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think it also probably heavily inspired Only Fools and Horses, the sitcom.
Yeah,
I feel like they went back in time and they said, what if Harold Shand was a nice person? Then he would end up being Del Boy, basically. Not as successful, but nicer.
Cut him. Ow! I still can't hear anything. Ow! I don't fucking know!
That's the thing about Howard, is that you do want him to succeed. You are on his side, even though he is a horrible maniac and a violent person at times. He does seem quite reasonable and likable, which is quite an interesting balance to get right.
That's the genius of filmmaking, or any kind of storytelling really, is when you can make an inherently bad person likable. Because they don't hide who he is at all. Well, he is violent, he's angry, he's short-tempered. He has tender moments, but he's really racist. He's abusive. He does hit his wife at one point.
Which is a brilliant scene, because she's quite an interesting character, actually, because she's upper class, isn't she? She's quite posh. So there's kind of like a dynamic between them, like a contrast, because he's very working class and brought himself up from the ground up.
Harold, your trouble is you just don't understand their psychology.
Bollocks, you smart-ass prat.
I'm going to bed. Good night.
Boy, come here, I'm talking to you.
Don't treat me like one of your thugs.
I like the bit when he realises what he's done and he kind of regrets it, and he almost is scared by his own emotions at that point.
He's like a kind of dog on a leash in a way, a kind of rabid dog on a leash. He's really good at putting on a front, but he's every now and then, he can't help himself. Bob Hoskins, fantastic actor, but never thought of as being your typical lead character in a film. He does not have the looks, of a Hollywood actor. Almost looks like a bulldog, the way he bares his bottom teeth. That's what makes him so magnetic as well. I look at little things that he does, like when he finds out that Colin, who is his sort of gay best friend, who is also part of the organisation, when he dies, there's genuine sadness there, and it really comes across. And I looked at little things he was doing, he's holding onto a rail and doing kind of this motion with it, to show his kind of angst about the whole thing.
He came out looking for me on his own. It's like he found me, I would have froze to death.
It's interesting the way he reacts to different people he's talking to as well. He'll put on a show for some people, and the way he talks to his guy Jeff, who is kind of his number one guy, to all his other guys, he'll shout at them and say, "Go on, you useless little, whatever, so and so." But to Jeff, he'll just kind of say, "You all right?" So what have you heard or whatever. And he says, and they make jokes with each other all the time. And he says, "How do you stay so cool?" at one point, doesn't he?
How do you stay so cool?
I'm on the winning side.
Yeah.
Skipping ahead a bit, the best scene of the film for me is when he finally confronts Jeff about the whole situation in the boat.
Yeah.
That's such a brilliant power play between the two of them, because at this point Howard has realised that Jeff's been lying about something and he's gone behind his back, and that's the reason why all this chaos has been happening. So he's trying to probe him for information, and that the way he does it, the way he ekes out little bits of information and tries to kind of test how he reacts to things, I just think is brilliant. That whole sequence is fantastic.
Helen found him dying. He'd been nailed to the floor.
When was this in?
Well, it must have been just after you saw him and before Alan saw him. Otherwise, you'd have noticed, wouldn't you? I mean, a geezer nailed to the floor. A man of your education would definitely have spotted that, wouldn't he?
Now look,
You are straight! Fucking Judas!
didn't do nothing.
Maybe you didn't nail the geezer, but it's down to you all the same, isn't it?
The only thing that holds that scene back a bit is the actor playing Jeff. I don't think is as strong an actor. He just Bob Hoskins, I don't know how he does it, but he really takes it back, you know, every time he talks. It doesn't matter if people around him aren't as good as him. And the way he loses his temper and he murders Jeff is just like so visceral, you know? Yeah, he really is the beating heart of this film.
Just shut up. You won't stop them. To them, you're nothing. Nothing. The shit on their shoes. Yeah.
Basically, the plot is about Colin. He's meant to be transferring some money from one place to the other for the IRA. And he takes some money off the top of it, and it's basically a revenge on that because some of the IRA members got killed off the back of it. They start attacking Harold's gang, and he doesn't even have anything to do with this deal at all.
Yeah,
he doesn't even know
it all
about
happens
it.
behind his back, but because he is the head of the organisation, his responsibility, so he's the one that they're going to target.
What the Irish got to do with me? There's a bunch of hoods trying to muscle in.
For Christ's sake, Harold, they're not just gangsters. They run half of Londonderry on terror. Could be London next.
Oh no, I run London.
All the way through it, there's a corrupt copper, Jeff, everybody's saying, it's the IRA, you can't deal with the IRA. He's a gangster. The IRA is a militant organisation.
They're political. They're not about money, you know.
Yeah. As one guy, Councillor Harris, I think, says, they're fanatics. You can't deal with them. Leads to a kind of fantastic ending, basically, doesn't it? You get to that anyway. He's decided, I'm going to take them on, and he goes into one of their bases under false pretenses. I brought you some money, right? Okay, and he gets like two of the main guys in the office, and then some people burst in with shotguns and kill them. There's this whole thing, it causes a big crash. And then they just walk out and leave. And then Harold's decided, right, I've beat the IRA. I've killed two people, I've beat the IRA.
Yeah. I think that really speaks to his kind of personality of his not willing to adapt to what's happening at the moment. So he's still operating in how being a gangster in London for the past 20 years has been. He's not seeing the new threat that's coming to him. He's not trying to adapt to that. He's just sticking to his old means. And that failed him in the end.
Probably would have failed him as well when him trying to get into the legitimate side of things as well, which was his main plan, was to legitimise his business and become like a kind of a massive CEO entrepreneur. It's quite clear that he wouldn't have been able to handle that either. Sooner or later, he would have done something that would have gotten him in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And then I like the scene when the Americans decide to leave. He goes on a massive rant about British spirit and how...
Thinking about that, from their perspective, I'd think they'd be sat there thinking, did you understand a word he was saying?
Yeah.
Because almost everything he says is slang.
Yeah.
I'm glad I found out in time just what a partnership with a pair of wankers like you would have been.
Now look,
Shut up, you long streak of paralysed piss.
I'm looking for people who are interested in things that Britain have brought to the world, you know? Sophistication. And the way he says it, sophistication. A little bit more than an hot dog. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
The mafia. I've shit 'em.
It's quite funny, isn't it? It's a weird film because the film has so many funny moments throughout.
Yeah, when Colin dies and they're going to bring him out in an ice cream van.
Yeah, even that is it's like a tender moment, and they're like, we need to lift it up a bit.
Keep it all incognito. They're going to collect the body in an ice cream van.
There's a lot of dignity in that, isn't there? Going out like a raspberry ripple.
I really like the final scene of the film. That's probably one of the other big standouts.
It's heavily quoted as being like one of the great ending scenes in a British film.
He gets in a car at the end of the film and he realises that he's been kidnapped by the IRA. The final 2-3 minutes of the film is just a close-up of his face as he realises he's probably going to die. It's all over. Everything's come crashing down.
It's like he's going through the 5 stages of grief.
There's so much going on in his face. And going back to Bob Hoskins being an amazing actor, you can really tell all these emotions. It's such a masterclass of acting, just that one, it's like a 2-minute sequence where we just hold on his face.
And of course, there's a cutaway with James Bond.
And one of his first roles, I think.
Yeah, I think some of the actors who didn't have speaking roles, they were playing Irishmen but weren't Irish. But I thought it was cool that they got a guy from Northern Ireland to play a member of the IRA.
I didn't give him any lines.
And didn't give him any lines, no. But at least he's from Northern Ireland.
Oh yeah, Colin as well. I was looking at him going, oh, I recognise that actor. What's he been in? So I was looking at him on IMDb and he was like, oh yeah, he's in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh no, that's not it. Oh, he's in Hot Fuzz as one of the reverends. No, that's not it. I was like, oh, that's it. He's Ivan Ooze in the Power Rangers film. That's where I know him from.
Let the ooze flow.
I didn't investigate that one. Like a few of them I recognise from other films. The guy who played Razors with like the scar across his face.
He's Hatchet Harry.
Things. Yeah, a few people from Only Fools and Horses. There's Alan Ford, is it? Who's in Guy Ritchie? Bricktop from Snatch. He barely has any lines in it, but he's in it.
Well, Chopper's in the boob.
Give me the shooter. See, we know London.
Not one pearly king. They don't know London.
More pearly kings.
More pearly kings and jelly deals.
Yeah.
Chimney sweeps.
So is there anything you want to talk about the production side of it? Because it was handmade films, but it wasn't made by them. Is that right? It was made by
that's
ITC.
Right. Yeah, they basically made the whole thing already. And apparently the production went really well and really smoothly and everyone was happy with it. But I
heard Lou Grade wasn't happy with it. He's the guy that owns ITC.
Okay.
Lou Grade and his people didn't like it at all. They thought it was dangerous. They thought it was promoting the IRA.
He listed off a load of things. It's unpatriotic. It's
too violent.
Too violent. Got too many swear words or whatever. You know, just like a load of meaningless rubbish that is just like a personal preference thing. And they said that they were going to release the film, but they're going to cut it and put it on TV.
Yeah.
And dub Bob Hoskins.
They said, come in and see it, Bob. You know what I mean? You'll love it. We've done it really well. And I saw 10 minutes of it and said, you're nicked. My contract says you cannot dub me without my permission.
So we got rescued by the fact that they'd done that. And then they needed a distributor. And then they were just lucky enough that Bob Hoskins met Eric Idle at a party. Eric, do you want to buy a film? And he said, oh, okay. And they got George Harrison involved from the Beatles, who's involved in handmade films. Yeah. And they bought it and released it in the cinemas as it was intended. And then it ended up getting shown in America. And America actually loved it. And I've seen the review by Ebert, Siskel and Ebert. And they were both raving about it. And they said, it's a great film. The only thing is that they didn't understand Bob Hoskins or a lot of the dialogue.
He should have been dubbed.
But he's so magnetic and such a great actor that it really draws you in.
So actually, we put a glossary of terms. On the American version, these are the vital words you got to just remember if you can.
So it ended up being a really successful film. And it's a good thing they didn't listen to Lou Grade.
Yeah, Lou Grade was an arsehole.
But going on that, I'm glad they didn't pay any attention to him because it's a fantastic film. Well, what do you think of the film?
So I really love it, actually. I think the first time I watched it was at uni. You showed it me. And it is a really engrossing film. I really like trying to figure out what's going on. You know, like I say, you're walking around with Harold trying to figure out what that bomb means or why that person got killed. You don't know. You know as much as him. And I think that creates quite an interesting mystery as well as a gangster film. Everything goes along at a really reasonable pace. When things start to sag, that's when the bomb goes off and that kind of brings you back into it. So there's lots of like little moments that keep your interest throughout the film.
Pretty much all that really is, I'd say all that is just how I feel about it. I liked Bob Hoskins for a while, but I feel like this is one of his strongest performances, possibly his strongest performance. I had like a whole period of just being really into gangster movies for a while, and I just kept on watching all these different gangster movies. And Long Good Friday is probably still my favourite British example of a good gangster film. So I think it's one of the best British films ever made, actually. Don't know, I wouldn't say it's number one, but it's got to be up there.
Okay, that's it for this time on Films and That. If you like this episode, please consider supporting Films and That on Patreon, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Goodbye.